So I love to bake, but sometimes I get short notice that people are coming over or we're going to go to a get together and I need to figure out what I can do that is super quick and super easy. So over the years, I have done a lot of experimenting with brownie mixes. And yes, I do have a cake website and a blog, and I do make a lot of cakes, but sometimes you want something different and sometimes you want something extremely quick and easy to make, and that's where brownie mixes come in. I love to experiment with them. All of our kids, well, they're not kids anymore, they're grown-ups at this point, but they still love it. They love to see what I can come up with just using a brownie mix. I think they really kind of get excited when they come over. It's like, what has Kara done with this brownie mix this time? So today I thought I would go through my latest invention using a brownie mix, and this one is a peanut butter mix-in. So it's a peanut butter swirl with some peanut butter chips in it. So really very good, very easy to put together. Everybody loves this. I've taken it to a few places and I've been making it for the last year, maybe almost 2 years at this point, for whenever all the kids come over, and they absolutely love it. And this one I'm making for my stepson's birthday, and we had a get together. I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this. Plus, not only that, but you know, I work a full-time job at home as well as run this channel and another website and channel, so I just didn't have a lot of time to put something together, but I know that he likes this. I know most people like this when they eat it, so I thought this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to share it with you so you can see how to do it as well, and maybe it will kind of give you a little jumping off point to sort of experiment on your own with brownie mixes. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to put these brownies together. It's quick and easy. There's nothing to it. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to show you kind of a cheater way, I guess not a cheater way, but the easy way to cut brownies without completely destroying them. So this is just a quick and easy way of cutting brownies, and you actually get mostly a clean cut if you do it this way instead of just hacking up your brownies, which was always a problem for me. But stick around to the end. I'm going to show you how I easily do that. So you're going to need some ingredients, and here I'm using a 13 by 9 inch family size brownie mix, and I really like the dark chocolate fudge, the Duncan Hines version. I have not tried this with other brands. This is what I normally use right here. And then you're going to need some peanut butter, and my choice is always Peter Pan creamy, but feel free to use whatever peanut butter that you like. I have not tried the natural peanut butter. I don't know if that will work. And then you're going to need Pam baking spray or some kind of other baking spray for your dish. And then this is the secret ingredient, well, not so secret ingredient, the Reese's peanut butter chips. You don't have to use these, but I really feel like it just pumps it up an extra notch there. And then I like to use these mini semi-sweet chocolate chips, and I just buy the store brand and they work out just fine, but I like the little mini ones because it's not adding a whole lot of extra chocolate to it. You'll need a medium-sized mixing bowl and then a small bowl to melt your peanut butter in, and then you're going to need a 1/3 cup measuring cup. So first thing you want to do is to spray your pan, and I'm just using one of those foil disposable pans here because I can take it to a party and leave it there. I don't have to worry about getting my nice glass pan back. So, but these, you have to know that for some reason they require you to bake whatever you're baking in them a little bit longer. That's my experience. Might be different for you, but just know that going in. So we're going to grab the brownie mix and we're going to add the ingredients that are on the back of the box here, except we're going to lower the amount of oil, and I'll show you that in just a second. So I'm just going to pour the entire brownie mix into my mixing bowl here. And I'm going to add the water. It's whatever amount of water that the box tells you to add. And so for the vegetable oil that it calls for, I'm actually going to measure it out, whatever the box calls for. And then I'm going to take out about 2 to 3 tablespoons because the peanut butter already has a lot of oil in it. And if you add too much oil, it's going to take forever for the brownies to bake. And sometimes they just won't bake at all completely. And trust me, I know I've done all kinds of experimenting. So just measure the amount of oil and then take out a couple of tablespoons of oil. And then I cracked an egg into my measuring cup. I always do that so I don't crack it directly into the batter here because I'll always get some kind of eggshell in there if I don't do that. So it's just going to take 1 egg for this mix. And then just mix it up. And I like to use these old school wooden spoons to mix up things with. It's just kind of fun and nostalgic for me. But also they serve a purpose because if you start out with a whisk, it sort of gets all clogged up in the whisk. So I start out with the wooden spoon and then I move on to the whisk and then make sure it's all mixed up and really smooth. Now I'm going to take a 1/3 cup of peanut butter. And again, I'm just using the smooth peanut butter. I've never tried it with the crunchy, but feel free to do whatever you like. And in my experience, I think most people prefer the creamy, but do what you want. So add the third cup into another bowl because I just measured it out in the measuring cup, and then I'm going to add it into a microwavable safe bowl and microwave it for about 20 seconds or so. But you don't want it really hot. You just want it enough to be where you can sort of pour it onto your batter. Anyway, you want to mix it up and make sure it's good and smooth. Now you're going to pour the brownie batter into your pan that has been sprayed. And it always kind of looks like it's not going to be enough brownie batter because it's so thin, but that's okay. That's how brownies are. And I suppose you could use 2 mixes here. I've never really tried it, but you could probably get thicker brownies if you use 2 mixes. But just make sure that it is smooth, and then take that warmed up peanut butter and then just use just like a little spatula or a spoon and then drizzle it on over the brownie batter. This does not need to be pretty. Just get it on there and try to cover as much as you can the different little areas of the brownie batter as you can, but trust me, it's okay. We're going to marble it in just a minute and it'll be fine. Then I take a knife and I marble it all the way across it, and then I go back the other way. So I do it along the short side and along the long side, and then I do it diagonally. So that's all you want to marble it. Trust me, you don't want to marble it more than these 3 times. And you can even just get away with just doing it twice through. But if you marble more, it's basically mixing it up and you're not going to get a nice little peanut butter marble look to it. Now is the fun part, and you get to add all of the extra goodies on top. And these are just the peanut butter chips, and add as many or as few as you want. It's totally up to you, but I always like a lot, probably more than everybody else wants on that. And anything that has fallen, those are free for you to eat. You have my permission. And now it's time to add the little chocolate mini chips here, and I just sprinkle a little bit on top. Also on chocolate, if you see this white sort of coating on it, that's not mold. I used to think that was mold. It's not mold. As long as everything's in date and you've not had it for, 5 years or something like that, it's natural for cocoa butter to do this. I think it's something like the sugar crystals will migrate to the top or some kind of oxidation or whatever, but it's called bloom and it's not harmful. It's not mold or mildew or anything, and it doesn't taste weird because it has that on there. It's completely fine. And also, whenever these get heated up, it's not going to have that on the finished product. So don't worry about that. And now I'm going to bake it according to the box. So I hope that you preheated your oven, because I forgot to tell you to do that, but please preheat your oven. It really does matter, and preheat it to whatever your box instructions tell you to do. And then put these brownies in the oven. And remember, if you're using one of these foil pans, it's going to take a little bit longer to bake. And especially it's going to take a little bit longer anyway if it has the peanut butter in it, because there's something with that added oil in there. It just takes these a little bit longer to bake from what I have experienced. So my box instructions told me to bake a 9 by 13 inch pan for about 20 to 23 minutes. And I actually ended up baking mine for about 27 to 30 minutes, kind of that area. So if that tells you anything, and make sure that it's done, that the middle's not jiggly and the edges are kind of firmed up. And I want it to cool down completely before I ever even try to cut it. That is one of the tricks to cutting brownies. So the trick to cutting brownies is using a plastic knife. I know it sounds weird, and I didn't trust it at first, but if you try it, I'm telling you, it works. It does not rip your brownies to shreds. Now, do what I say, not as I do, because the only plastic knife I had this day was this plastic knife that had serrated edges on it. So you can see it's a little bit more serrated on this knife than usual plastic knives. So that's really not the ideal, but it still worked a little bit better than my usual knives do on brownies. And make sure you kind of wipe it off after you do one pass. It helps to not drag against it when you're trying to cut it. But if you do use a plastic knife, I hope you try that out, because it really does well most of the time here. Just make sure that your knife doesn't have these serrated. I mean, a little bit of the serrated stuff on the end is okay, but the less the better. But plastic knives are perfect for this, and they seem to work really well. And you can see here that the swirls on these brownies are so pretty. It just makes really pretty brownies, and they do actually look like they are homemade, which I guess is true. They are homemade. You made them at home. They're just not from scratch. But I still think you can take the credit for them because people are going to love these, and they're not going to automatically think, hey, these brownies, they're not from scratch. Nobody thinks that. I mean, look at these. They're chewy. They're moist. It is just so much goodness in one small little brownie. People are really going to love them, especially kids. Anywhere I've ever taken these, the kids just gobble them up. Of course, you want to make sure that nobody is allergic to peanut butter before you bring these anywhere, but otherwise, people are going to love them. Okay, so that is my go-to brownie recipe at the moment. I'm sure that eventually I will experiment with some other things to add to it, and I will let you know what they are. I already have an idea for maybe some s'mores brownies. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so give this a try. Let me know how you like it. And if you have any other ideas, give them to me in the comments because I am all ears. And that is it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Bye.